afternoon. This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teesside for the second week of 2024. I did go to the Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers last Saturday, and I did go with a friend, and that was Helen, who was made most welcome. Well, we both were, but Helen hadn't been before. So one of the ladies, Diana, asked if any of us would like to have a go at spinning, because when I went it was the Christmas party, so it was a little bit different that week. So Helen had a go at spinning, had a lesson, well, actually one-to-one tuition for a few hours with a lunchtime in between, which was fantastic. What an opportunity that is, because that's what they're about. They're about sort of sharing skills. So I was next to them, and I have done a bit of spinning, but I still picked up a few things that I didn't know, and it was informative and interesting for me as well. She even got to borrow a spinning wheel for a month until the next meeting, which is great, isn't it? What an opportunity. I think it was easier for her to take the spinning wheel home for them to put it back in the cupboard. So it was really nice. There was a lady making Japanese braids with silk, and all she had was a square piece of thinnish wood with slots, like the friendship braid making sort of kits. But she had a big book with all these fantastic diagrams of which way to cross your threads, and all the threads were silk, and they all had little wooden bobbins. And she said she'd asked somebody had made it for her. Little wooden bobbins were hanging, and there had to be a certain sort of tension, and all she was doing was moving them round clockwise for one round and then anti-clockwise for the next round, which looked simple, and I don't really know how long it would take to produce something, but they're very strong braids, and that was really interesting. She told us all about that. So that was Saturday, and then Thursday is the knitting night, our knitting group. Helen's finished her wreath, which I'm going to put a picture of that on. So it's made a willow wreath that she made at a willow workshop, which she's decorated with pumpkins, felted leaves, and at the top there's a little mouse and some brambles, some blackberries. So the blackberries, I think she'd used a pattern for the blackberries, but she'd bought some blackberry coloured beads and worked them into it. So the first one was a little bit, she said, not as even. I don't know if she put them on afterwards or tried to put them in as she was working, but she found that the best method was to thread them onto the wool and then make the shape. I think that's sort of when you do a crochet stitch, you can push it down in between each one. But they were really effective because they caught the light just like a little bramble would. So I'm going to put that on for you to see. Andy is on her third strip for a very fine poncho. The strips are about 6 inches wide, I would say. And I think this one's got a diagonal stripe on it. And she's got sort of big shells and little shells on the next one. And I think it was stripes, but I didn't actually see because there was lots going on. So she's going to sew them together, and they're going to go across diagonally. And then I suppose the other ones will meet coming this way. But it's all, I haven't seen anything on paper. I'm assuming it's all in her head and she knows exactly what she's planning. Because there's an awful lot of work in it and an awful lot of knitting in it. But Fee's back. So that was what we all had to talk about, because we haven't seen Fee for a while. So there was lots of catching up to be done. Fee's project. Now, she lives in France some of the time. And in France, if they've got a stash that's surplus to requirements, They have sort of crafty stash sales. Can't remember what they call them. So she'd bought some mohair, and then she'd bought some sort of maybe bamboo, cotton, silk sort of 4-ply or double knit. And she was planning on using them together, and the lady said, "Oh, you can't use them together." She'd want to see me. Would you like to see? Because I will. So she's making a sort of a long, wide wrap sort of stole shawl. What she's doing with the mohair, she's doing 3 stitches, and then the next 3 stitches she's wrapping the mohair around the needle 3 times to get a longer stitch, and is hoping to get like a wavy effect, which I had noticed. So it is doing that, but it's not pronounced quite enough, and we think that maybe when if she blocks it, it'll be more apparent. And she's done quite a lot of it, so. And it's kind of like faded autumnal shades, because Fee's very much autumnal shades sort of person. Yeah. So it's quite like this that I'm using, which is, I don't know if the colour's very good on there, but this is, it's a mohair nylon, and it's Louisa Harding, and it's called La Salute Quattro. So I'm assuming it's got 4 colours in it. I can see a lilac and a pink and a sort of a lemony colour. It's really not showing up on there very well. I've only had 1 bottle of this. So last week I told you I'd got all these mohairs out, and I was going to do my Ugly Cat Shawl with mohair. And then the mohair section I was doing was really difficult to get knitting at a pace. But I did buy these new needles that I showed you last week. They're really good. They really are good. They sort of slip and slide. So they've got these little dints in. Sometimes you can hear it when you're knitting. This is my Ugly Cat Shawl. It's a very chill knit. It's, once you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. So it's German short rows every few stitches to form a very elongated triangle. So the black section at the bottom is the edge, and each of the sections is the same width going up. So the third one, this colour ran out, and I did the rest of that one in a different yarn, but the yarn kind of goes with it. And then this is the first part of a claw that disappears to nothing. And then the next yarn I chose, I'm not going for a fade, but I'm going for a blend-ish, because I do know I've got some lime green that I am going to get in there somewhere. I think I've got a yellowy green and then a lime green, but I keep changing. But there's quite a lot of knitting in it, but it's very relaxed because there's nothing too faffy or tricky about it. And you could, I mean, really experiment with using, I mean, it's good for scraps. It's good for having a stash dive and seeing what might look good together. So that's my Ugly Cat Shawl. Now, I've got this cotton, and I asked for a couple of ideas of a good baby blanket, and I got a couple. And one was like a zigzag, very geometric looking, and I liked that. I really did like the look of it. But to make it, you did a corner bit, and then you had to start again and add on to it. So I wasn't really very excited about the method, should I say. So somebody else suggested this one, which is Smooth Fox Beginners Baby Blanket. And it's a free pattern. And it is Smooth Fox all in one word, because if you do Google Smooth Fox, you will get pictures and details about smooth foxes and smooth fox terriers. So it's kind of, it's not a hexagon, it's more of a star shape, but I've had the same issue. So it must be me. So, you know, my last one was a triangle. I could have a triangle on one side and a circle on the other side. I don't know if I've not got my tension right, done one row too many or what, but it does sort of, it's full in the middle. Now, I did quite enjoy this little sample. I just did this morning when I was having a cup of coffee. But still, I don't think I'm going to make this one, because I think it would be nice in something a lot softer, like an acrylic baby yarn, a nice soft one. A premium acrylic, should I say. And I think with this having the texture, it might just be, I haven't even told you what this is, have I? Because I can't actually remember. But I think with the texture, it would look much nicer knitted. So I'll keep you posted on that. If I don't come up with something, I shall be getting some different wool out and doing something with that instead. Here's Millie. Isn't she beautiful? She was advertised, well, it's a bit of a long story and I don't know if she's going to stay here for the whole story. But there you go, there's a good view of our Millie. So, we had a cat, we had a big tomcat. And he lived to be about 17. And he was really beautiful. But, well, we've had a few years without a cat. And I thought, well, it's a big commitment, having a cat. And my daughter kept sending me these cats from the cat rescue, local independent cat rescue. And she kept sending me these pictures and posts about cats. And I was like, nope, for a few months. And then she sent me a Millie. And Millie was advertised as being 17 and her owner's circumstances had changed. And I said, oh, just message them. So she messaged them. And this is the outcome. And then when they looked at her chip details, she's not 17, she's 18. She's got a ginger paw and a black paw, and the back ones are the same. And she likes chin tickles, don't you? And she's quite cuddly, and she likes people and attention. So she lived with 2 big German shepherds and a nasty other cat. So that's why she came to us. Well, that's part of the reason. She's 6 days. Well, no, we've got a Monday afternoon and it's now Saturday afternoon. She's just been downstairs cuddling up on my husband on his hand knitted jumper. And before she went back to sleep, I thought I'd nab her and show you. Be beautiful, aren't you? And the dogs have been very good. One of them's lived with a cat before and the other one we didn't really know, but she's been really good. But they were like 2 excited children, the dogs. But you like dogs, don't you? You know about dogs, don't you? So it was all alright because she's an experienced dog owning cat, aren't you? So this round my neck is my Birds of a Feather shawl. It's just beautiful. I really like it. I bought the yarn in a kit just because I loved the colour, and she said that is for Birds of a Feather. I thought you could make other things with it. I thought, well, I'll have a look. So I have made that. But I do find, so it's knits. I can never say it properly. I'm getting all caught on a bit of Velcro. It's quite long and I'm not very tall. So if I wrap it round like that, it's still trailing on the floor nearly, so I have to wrap it round again like that, which is okay. But I find it easier to do it the way I had it on before. So which would be, because it's not central, that peak is not central, it's asymmetric. just go like that with it. That's how I had it on. And it just, it's alright, isn't it? And I'm wondering, don't scratch your head, don't scratch your chin, don't pout, especially when you've got wrinkles around your lips. So, more news, maybe, next week.